In this video, we will discuss the forms and translations of the future passive infinitive. Let's first remind ourselves about the basics of infinitives with the present active infinitive. The present active infinitive is the second principal part of the verb. So from amo, amaro, we have amara. From wideo, widera, we have widera. From pono, ponera, we have ponera. From audio, audira, we have audira. The present active infinitive is translated as to blank. So the translations for these are to love, to see, to place, and to hear. As we prepare to look at a future passive infinitive, think about these four principal parts of the verb to see: wideo, widera, vidi, visum. Here is our example sentence. Nero sperat domum auream per urbem visum iri. The main verb is sperat. Nero is the nominative subject. Domum is our direct object. Per urbem is an accusative prepositional phrase. And visum iri is going to be our future passive infinitive. The domum auream is referring to the domus aurea, the golden house that Nero built in Rome. And so we translate this as Nero hopes, Nero sperat. That is your key English indirect statement word. His golden house, domum auream, will be seen, visum iri, future passive, throughout the city, per urbem. Can you tell which principal part of the verb to see we're using to create the future passive infinitive? Okay, let's see. The future passive infinitive is formed using the accusative supine, that is the fourth principal part, plus iri. Notice that we are not using a participle, as we did for the perfect passive and the future active. The accusative supine is simply the fourth principal part, and it will retain the um ending. And so, for amo amaro, we will create amatum iri. From wideo widera, we'll have visum iri. From pono ponera, we'll have positum iri. And from audio audira, we'll have auditum iri. Again, notice how the future passive infinitive uses the accusative supine, which always ends in um, no matter what. The translation of the future passive infinitive is to be about to be blanked. And so, our translations are to be about to be loved, to be about to be seen, to be about to be placed, and to be about to be heard. Now, if you think this is clunky, you'd be absolutely right. Take comfort in the fact that the future passive infinitive very rarely occurs in Latin literature. And when it does, it's usually in an indirect statement. And so, let's briefly return to that example that we saw just a moment ago. Nero sperat domum auream per urbem visum iri. Recall that the future infinitive refers to an action later than the action of the introductory verb of the indirect statement. So, sperat is a present tense verb. Visum iri, our infinitive, is taking place later than the present tense. And so we say in our translation, Nero hopes that his golden house will be seen. The translation will be seen construes both a later time with will and passive nature with a be blanked translation. And so when you see a future passive infinitive in an indirect statement, you'll most commonly translate it as will be blanked or would be blanked. I would also like to quickly demonstrate how visum, the accusative supine, never changes. You might expect, if this were a participle, that it would agree with the subject of the indirect statement, domum. Remember that the fourth declension noun, domus, domus, is a feminine noun, and domum is going to be feminine, accusative, and singular. Notice how auream, the adjective, is feminine, accusative, and singular, to agree with domum. But the future passive infinitive, visum iri, doesn't care what gender the subject of the indirect statement is. It's going to stay visum iri, no matter what.